For this lesson, inshallah, we're going to talk about how can we expand expressions. We're going to discuss some rules. Let's start simple by this. This is just a very simple, direct question about expanding expressions. Let's see how can we work on this. So the whole idea of expanding expressions is basically to break out the bracket. So if you have a bracket, then therefore you need to definitely expand the expression. So expanding expressions means breaking the braces or the bracket. Okay, so how can we do that? So in order to do or to break out the bracket, you need to look at whatever before it and stick to it. If there was a number that is stick to it, no operations in between, of course there is just a hidden multiplication between them, but no addition or subtraction in between. If there was a number, if there was a variable, a sign, anything that is stick to the bracket, as you can see, they're just directly next to each other. We need to distribute this thing or number, in this case it's a number, we need to distribute it to all terms inside the bracket. So what are the terms inside the bracket? We have 5n and we have -2, or the 2 subtracted. So we need to distribute the 10 to both terms. And when I'm distributing the 10 multiplied by each term, not the whole bracket alone, no. Now I need to multiply it by each term. Let's see how can we do that. So first step is distribute. Step number 1 is to, I'm just gonna list out the steps in a minute, but for now let's do this one just directly. So first step is to distribute the number. So it's gonna be 10 times the 5n. And in the algebra, to multiply two terms, we don't put times in between, no. We put them in brackets and we stick them next to each other, like this. This means that I'm multiplying them. But because we're working with algebra, we have to use this form or this way. And then just write down the sign. We have negative in between, we just write it down. And then again, distribute the 10 to the 2. So it's going to be 10 times the 2. Until now, I only distributed the 10. Step number 2, I need to actually go ahead and multiply it. So I need to multiply the 10 with 5n and the 10 with the 2. Okay? So to multiply a number with a term, you multiply the number with the number part of the term. So 10 times 5 is going to be 50. Both of them are, of course, positive. There is no sign. So the 50 will be positive, or just keep it without a sign. Okay? And then you take the variable, put it in. Don't forget the variable. It's our friend. We don't leave a friend behind. Now do the same here. If you have a variable or you don't have, the same rule. Again, 10 times 2 is going to be 20. Since there is no variable, nothing to put n. And again, we have subtraction or negative. We're just going to put it down as it is. Now, last step is ask yourself, can I simplify this expression? Can I combine these terms? Are they like terms? No, they are not like terms. Therefore, I cannot combine them. Then I'm done. Since you cannot combine these like terms, these two terms, then you are done and you expanded your expression. It's just straightforward, direct, but things get more tricky when there are actually terms to combine, or there's lots of different signs, or there's decimals or fractions. Let's see how can we do that. So again, for expanding expressions, we use distributive property because we distribute the number outside the bracket by multiplying it by everything inside the bracket. So it's going to be 4 times x for x, 4 times 3, 12 positive, so it's going to be as it is. Anyways, of course we have to do it step by step. As you can see here, it's going to make more sense for you and less mistakes. Okay, let's take an example with 3 terms, and I want it to be a bit more challenging. Let's take this example. Here we have, it's question number 10, page, I believe 218. I hope so. I think 218 or 219, in case you're looking for the page number. We have this question. I'm just going to write it down in another slide. 4 bracket 3 plus 4x minus 2. So let's do it here in a different slide. So the question was, question number 10. It was 4, then 3 plus 4x minus 2. 3 plus 4x minus 2. Okay, so as I promised you, we need to list down the steps for expanding expressions. So steps to expand algebraic expressions. So let's see. We have step number 1 is to, as we said, we need to distribute. I will not mention out in details, I'll just give you some keywords. Then we have step number 2. Just to be more specific, let's just make sure to mention out what are we going to distribute. If you have a number only, distribute the number right away. If you have a sign next to the number, which is most probably is going to be negative, you have to distribute this sign first. Okay, I will give you more both in both cases, when you have a sign and when we don't have a sign. For this example, we're just gonna keep it without a sign. So if you have a sign, distribute the sign. If you don't have it, go directly to the next step, which is distribute the number. Okay, distribute the number or a variable, if you have a variable, but make sure the sign comes first. Step number 3 is to actually multiply after distribution. Then we have step number 4. Let's take a dark color. Is to combine like terms if you have any. Then we have step number 5 is to simplify if possible. Let's see step by step how can I apply these steps and how can I expand this expression. So my goal is to expand this expression. Okay, so again, step number 1 is to distribute the sign, but I don't have it. Just then check. I'm not gonna do it. Let's go directly to step number 2, expand or distribute the number or the variable. Since I have a number before the bracket, then I can go ahead and distribute it. Remember, we only distribute when there's a number stick to the bracket, okay, or a sign. Yeah, let's go ahead and distribute it. 4, I'm gonna multiply it by 3. Don't forget to write equal to the new distributed term expression. So 4 by 3, this is how we write the multiplication in algebra. We just keep the numbers in brackets. Then we're gonna multiply the 4 by 4x. Don't forget to just drag down the sign. Yeah, 4 times 4x. So it's gonna be 4 times 4x. Okay. Then don't forget the last one is 4 times 2. Again, don't forget to write down the sign. Since you wrote down the sign, no need to write it again next to the number. So you're gonna just write 4 times the 2 only. Since the negative was written outside, no need to write it inside here again, okay? Now, moving to step number 2. This was supposed to be in red. Anyways, moving to, we're done now with step number 2. Moving to step number 3 is to multiply. Let's go ahead and do multiplication. Yes, so 4 times 3 is basically 12. No sign to be written, both of them are positive. Put the positive, drag the addition down. Now 4 times 4x. Remember to multiply a number by a variable. We multiply the numbers part together and we drag down the variable. So 4 times 4 is 16. Both of them are positive. Normally they will go down. X, we'll write it down as it is. Don't forget the variable. The variable is our friend and we never leave a friend behind. Drag down the subtraction or the negative sign. Now 4 times 2 is 8. Just write it down as it is. Now I'm done with multiplication step. Go ahead and ask yourself, do I have any term to combine? So fourth step is to combine like terms. Do I have like terms to combine? Looking at this expression, yes, I have 8 negative and 12. There is no sign written before it, but I know if there is no sign, it's going to be definitely positive. So I have 8 negative and 12 positive. To combine them, I use which rules? I use Sadus rules. In combining like terms, we use Sadus rules. Same sign add, different signs subtract, and put the sign of the greater number. So I have positive 12 and negative 8. They have different signs, so I need to subtract. 12 minus 8, you can do it by lining up the numbers. I'll do it mentally. It's going to give me 4. And put the sign of the greatest number, which is 12. The sign is going to be positive. And since the positive 16x does not have any other like term to it, so I'm just going to write it down in the answer. Positive 16x. Okay, I combined like terms. I'm done with step number 4. Step number 5, simplify. Do I have anything to simplify? If there was a fraction, then yes, you might think about step number 5 to simplify. But since there is no fraction, then no need, we're done. Okay? So this is the final answer. I cannot combine these two terms, then I'm done. Okay? Let's take another example, but with a sign to distribute. Okay? I'll make this example a bit more challenging. Let's take this one. Question 12. We have 2.5 times negative 3 plus 4n plus 8. Let's write it down in a new slide. So I have negative 2.5 what did I do? Yes, negative 2.5. This is question 12. Page, most probably page 219 or 18. Okay. Negative 2.5, negative 3 plus 4n plus 8. Negative 3 plus 4n plus 8. Again, I will just keep my rules in the same place I'm working at. Go ahead, copy paste the rules just to make sure I'm not gonna forget to do any step. Okay. Yay, here we have it. I think this is nice. Okay. So step number 1 is to distribute the signs. Do I have a sign before the bracket? Yes, this one. This is the sign that is also before the number that is before the bracket. So I have to distribute it. The previous example, we did not have a sign here, so we went directly to step number 2. But this example, we have a sign that should be distributed first. What does distributing the sign means? It means that I will take this sign and multiply it with all signs inside the bracket. It should be multiplied with all of these signs. And remember, signs multiplication is not the same as signs or numbers with different signs addition. So working with signs and when you are multiplying is not the same as addition. In addition or subtraction, when you are working with signs, the rule was to use sadis, same signs positive, different signs negative, and put the sign of the greatest number. But in multiplication of signs or division, when you are multiplying or dividing, you need to use the smiley faces rules, which was if you are working with same signs, if you are multiplying same signs, negative times negative or positive times positive, the answer is going to be positive. If there are different signs, negative times positive, positive times negative, the answer will be negative. Okay? Since I want to distribute this sign, and I know that distribution means multiplication with everything inside the bracket, I need to multiply the negative times this negative. The negative outside times this positive. The negative outside times this positive. Okay, so let's do it and rewrite the problem, okay? So again, the 2.5 has nothing to do, we have nothing to do with this part. We're just gonna write it as it is. And the rest of the numbers will be written with their new signs. So negative, the negative outside, times negative that is next to 3 would give me, same signs will give me positive, again the same number. Numbers will not get affected, only the signs, because I'm working with signs. I'm multiplying the sign. Now, negative times positive will give me different signs, is basically negative. Again, 4n will not get affected, only the sign. Then negative times positive will be negative. Again, because different signs, negative. And the 8 will not get affected. It will be exactly as it is. As you can see, since I multiplied the negative, only the signs got affected or changed. They were flipped to the opposite sign, okay? But if it was, because it's multiplying only signs, okay? So the numbers and the variables will stay as they are. Even the problem will stay as it is. I'm only changing the signs. I'm done with step number 1. Moving to step number 2 is to distribute the number or a variable. Since I have a number outside, let's go ahead and distribute it. 2.5 times the 3, 2.5 times the 4n, 2.5 times the 8. Now I will do it as I'm used to. So 2.5 in a bracket, because in algebra we multiply numbers using brackets. Okay, you can write the positive at the beginning. As we said, we write first of all the sign, and then 2.5 in a bracket times 4n in a bracket. Then we write the sign, negative. Then 2.5, then times 8. Again, from where did I get these signs? The positive, I got it before the 3. We just put it down first. The negative, because it was before the n, so in the next step, it will be written before the part of 4n. Then this negative will be written before the 8 part, okay? I'm done with step number 2. I distributed my number. Moving to step number 3 is to multiply. Let's go ahead and multiply 2.5 times 3. You can do this multiplication on the side. For the ones that forgot how to multiply a decimal by a number, just a quick reminder. Here, 2.5 times 3. We ignore that there is a decimal. We totally ignore it. Okay, just act as if there is no decimal here. And then we multiply normally. 3 times 5 is basically 15. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1, 7. Then since we have one decimal place value in the answer, we're going to have also one place value before the decimal. So the answer is going to be 7.5. Of course, drag down the positive. 7.5. Okay. Then this part, same idea. 2.5 times 4. Again, 2.5 times 4 for the ones that forgot. We again ignore that there's a decimal, multiply normally. 4 times 5 is 20, 0 down, 2 up. 4 times 2 is 8 plus the 2. It's going to give us 10. One place value, then we leave also one place value. It's going to be 10.0 or 10. Just write 10, makes it easier. So put the sign, negative, 10. And there's a variable here. Don't forget the variable. The variable is our friend, and we never leave a friend behind. Okay. The last part is 2.5 times 8. If you do it, you're going to get 20. So put the sign, negative, then 20. Okay. Now I'm done with the multiplication part. I can go ahead and check out if I can do the next part, which is combine like terms. Look at the expression, the green one. Do I have any like terms to combine? Yes, I have positive 7.5 and I have negative 20. I can combine them using which rules? Smiley face or SATs? SATs. Again, combining means addition or subtraction, depends. Combine. We use SATs. To distribute, we use these smiley faces. Very smiley. So let's combine them using SATs rules. I have negative 20 and positive 7.5. Different signs, subtract. You can line them up and subtract them. I'll just do it mentally. It's going to be 12.5. Now the 12.5 is the answer of subtracting 20 minus 7.5. Which sign is going to be? It's going to be negative. It will take the sign of the greater number, negative. And since the negative 10n has no other like term to it, I'll just write it down in the answer. So I'm done with step number 4. Last step is to simplify. Do I have anything to simplify? Nope, because these are just in their simplest form. I cannot combine them, I cannot simplify them. And I'm done again. Okay. This is the next example I'm gonna do, and it's gonna be the last example, maybe, I think. Maybe I'll take the other rows. Yeah, these. So we need these rules to follow while we are working with expanding expressions, okay? Just make them smaller to fit. maybe way smaller. This is good. It's just, sorry Miss May. طيب, let's work on this example. So here I have, I need to use distributive property to expand this expression. Let's see what I can do. So again, in this expression, I have a fraction, I have a negative sign, I have a lot of things, to be honest. Let's see how what we should do first. First thing, based on the steps, I need to distribute the sign. So since I have a sign, yes, I can distribute it. So it's going to be negative times the sign that is here, but there is no sign shown. Since there is no sign shown, it's hidden. There's definitely a positive sign. So therefore, I have to multiply the negative times positive. Then negative times negative. Then negative times positive. Now let's go ahead and rewrite the problem. Of course, we're going to keep the number as it is. خلاص, the negative, we're going to multiply it, so no need to write it at the beginning. Let's go ahead and multiply the sign with everything. Remember, to multiply signs, we use the smiley faces. To distribute the sign, we use the smiley faces. So negative times positive is negative. Again, we keep the number. Negative times negative is going to be positive. We keep the term as it is. Then negative times positive is going to be negative, and we keep the term again. Okay, I'm done with step number 1. Moving now to step number 2. Distribute the number. I have 1 over 3. Let's go ahead and distribute it to all terms inside the bracket. So 1 over 3 times the 2, the 3x, and the negative 3. Let's go ahead and do it. Remember the rule. First of all, you write the sign outside. Then you multiply 1 over 3 times 2. When we are multiplying, we multiply using brackets. Okay. Again, put the sign outside and multiply 1 over 3 times 3x, all of it. Again, put the sign outside and multiply 1 over 3 times 3. Now let's do it. Next step is I'm done with this step number 2. Now we can do step number 3 to multiply. So let's go ahead and multiply properly. Just put the sign outside again and multiply normally. 1 over 3 times 2 to multiply a fraction and the number. We put a denominator for the number 1. We just make a denominator 1. It will not affect the number. And we multiply normally. 1 times 2 is basically 2. 1 times 3 is basically 3. We multiply as we know about fractional multiplication. طيب, again, put the sign as it is. Same as here. We put the positive as it is. And multiply 1 over 3 with the 3 part. The variable will be just kept on the side. So how can I multiply a fraction with a number? Just make a denominator 1 and multiply numerators together, denominators together. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 3 again is 3. Of course, don't forget the variable. Variable is our friend. We never leave a friend behind. Now drag the negative down and multiply again. Same process. 1 times 3, 3. 1 times 3 is also 3. Okay. Now, next step is to combine like terms. Look at your, since I'm done with step number 3, let's move to step number 4. Look at the expression. Do I have any terms to combine? The answer, of course, yes. I have negative 3 over 3. It's a number. And negative 2 over 3 is also a number. I can combine them. To combine, I use which rule? I use the saddest rules. So same signs, add. Both of them are negative. I have to add it. 2 over 3 and 3 over 3. On the side, just add 2 over 3 plus 3 over 3. Remember, to add fractions, we only add the numerators, only, not as multiplication. Multiplication, we do both sides, numerators and denominators. But in addition, we only add the numerators. 2 plus 3 is 5. And we keep the same denominator, 3. Okay? So it's going to be 5 over 3. Which sign? Of course, the greater value, which is negative. And since this one has nothing to be combined with, I'll just write it as it is. Now, finally, we're going to do step number 5, simplify. Can I simplify this expression? Yes, I can simplify the fractions part. I can easily divide 3 by 3. It's going to give me 1. So this is going to be plus 1x, or just x as it is. And this one, 5 divided by 3, I cannot really divide it. I can rewrite it as mixed number. How many 3's in 5? I have one whole, I have 1 whole 3 in the 5. In the 5 I have 3 and I have 2. I have 1 whole 3 written. I will write it outside because 3 divided by 3 is 1. And I still have 2 over 3 left. Okay? Keep the negative down. Now just make sure to rewrite it in a nicer way. It's gonna be negative 1 and 2 over 3 plus, not 1x, just write it plus x. This is much nicer. No need to write the 1. Only number 1. If it was another number, you have to write it. And that's it. I'm done. Try to practice some questions from the book. Here you have a lot of practice questions. Variables, we distribute this the same way. We multiply the x by the 4. It's gonna be brackets. Just put the negative, and then x by the 3.4 y, and then x times 4 is 4x minus. There is no numbers to multiply, just write 3.4, and then the x and the y, both of them are variables and both of them we write them down. Since they are unlike terms, we cannot combine them, and I'm done. This question is easy. Try to do something like this one, something like this. I think we did this. You can do this, you can do this. Any question. Even some word problems. It's gonna be a good idea to solve. Also some reasoning question here. They're asking when you are expanding or simplifying a times b plus c, when are you gonna get a result of positive value for ac? So if I want to expand this a b plus c, I will get what? A times b, which is ab, a times c, which is ac. When is the AC part is gonna give me negative value? I mean positive value. It's basically if A is positive and B is positive, if I'm gonna multiply them, the answer will be positive. And also if A is negative and B is negative, if I'm gonna multiply them, the answer will be also positive. So this is the answer. You can check it out also in the book page, answer key, for a more formal answer. Also try to do this one. Try to solve some questions from the book and share with me